Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Jefferson nickel coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we have something truly special to talk about, the United States of America 5-cent coin from 1939. At first glance, this small and seemingly unremarkable coin might not seem like much, but don't let its size fool you. It has a fascinating story, a rich history, and a value that will definitely surprise you. Let's take a journey back in time to the year 1939. The world was on the brink of major change. In the United States, the Great Depression was finally starting to show signs of receding, but the world was still grappling with its effects. It was a time of uncertainty, but also a period of recovery and innovation. The year 1939 is especially important for American coin collectors, as it marks the production of a particular 5-cent coin that holds a unique place in numismatic history. The 1939 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson Nickel, features a simple yet elegant design that many collectors recognize. On the obverse, we see a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Jefferson's profile has been a staple on the nickel since the coin's redesign in 1938, and it remains one of the most enduring images in American coinage. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll notice an image of Monticello, Jefferson's famous plantation home in Virginia. The building's distinctive dome and columns are beautifully captured on the coin, serving as a tribute to Jefferson's legacy and his contributions to American history. The Monticello design was chosen to honor the man, the architect, and the history he helped shape. However, as time passed, the 1939 5-cent coin took on a different significance. You see, in the world of coin collecting, it's often the rare, the unusual, and the unexpected that hold the most value. While millions of these coins were minted, certain ones stand out due to their scarcity, errors, and unique characteristics. As with many coins from the 1930s, there were a few variations that caught the attention of collectors. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1939 nickel is its potential for rare finds. A key factor that drives the value of this coin is its condition. The majority of the 1939 5-cent coins were used in circulation and have been worn down over the years. However, when one of these coins is found in pristine, uncirculated condition, it can command a much higher price on the market. Coins that have been well preserved, with sharp details and minimal wear, are the ones that collectors seek out the most. And, if you're lucky enough to find one of these coins in mint condition, it could be worth significantly more than its face value. But there's more to the story of the 1939 nickel than just good condition. Some versions of the 1939 5-cent coin have an added rarity factor due to minting errors. Minting errors can occur for a variety of reasons, and these mistakes can make a coin even more valuable. One such error on the 1939 nickel involves a misalignment of the die, creating a coin with a distinctive off-center strike. These error coins are incredibly rare, and their value skyrockets in the world of numismatics. A small mistake like this could mean the difference between a coin being worth just a few dollars and being worth thousands. The hunt for rare and error coins has led many collectors to spend years searching for that elusive 1939 nickel with the perfect combination of rarity, condition, and error. For these collectors, it's not just about owning a piece of history, it's about owning a truly unique treasure, one that not only tells the story of the past but also carries with it significant financial value. So, now let's get to the most exciting part, the value of the 1939 5-cent coin. If you've managed to stumble upon one of these coins in perfect condition, or even better, one with a rare minting error, you might be holding something worth far more than you imagined. In fact, the highest valued 1939 5-cent coins have been sold for a staggering $145,000. That's right, $145,000 for a single nickel. It's hard to believe that a coin with such a humble face value could be worth so much, but that's the magic of numismatics. The value of a coin is determined by so many factors, including rarity, condition, historical significance, and sometimes even the tiniest of errors that make it stand out from the rest. So, if you happen to have a 1939 5-cent coin lying around in your collection, take a closer look. It could very well be one of those rare gems that could change your financial future. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just starting out, the world of rare coins is full of surprises, and you never know when you might discover a treasure hidden in plain sight. Top 2, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in American numismatics, the United States 5-cent coin from 1949. You may have seen this coin before, or perhaps you've got one stashed away, but what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary nickel could be worth an eye-popping sum? Stick around until the end of the video to find out just how much this 1949 nickel could be worth. Let's set the stage first. 1949 was a significant year in American history. The country was beginning to recover from the effects of World War II and the Great Depression. The economy was starting to thrive again, and the post-war era brought with it a wave of optimism and progress. During this time, the United States Mint was producing coins as part of its ongoing efforts to keep up with the growing demand for currency. Among these coins was the 5-cent piece, also known as the Jefferson Nickel. The Jefferson Nickel has been a staple in American coinage for decades, with its iconic design featuring Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse. Jefferson's portrait has graced the nickel since 1938, and it remains one of the most enduring images in American coinage. But it's not just the design that makes the 1949 5-cent coin so interesting. In fact, this particular year's nickel holds a special place in the hearts of collectors, and for good reason. First off, the 1949 nickel was part of a large mintage, with millions of these coins being produced that year. However, the real value lies in the details, as with many coins. For most people, a 1949 nickel is just a 5-cent piece, no different from the ones you might find in your pocket today. But for serious collectors, this particular year is significant because of its rarity and the unique variations that exist among these coins. The 1949 Jefferson Nickel is famous for its subtle differences in mint marks. If you look closely at the coin, you'll notice the mint mark beneath the word Monticello on the reverse side of the coin. This mint mark indicates where the coin was produced, either at the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, the Denver Mint, D mint mark, or the San Francisco Mint, S mint mark. While the minting facility may seem like a small detail, it plays a huge role in the rarity and value of the coin. Coins minted at the San Francisco Mint, with the S mint mark, are particularly rare and highly sought after by collectors. The reason behind this rarity has to do with the fact that the San Francisco Mint produced far fewer 1949 nickels compared to the other mints. As a result, 1949 S nickels are considered a true treasure in the world of coin collecting, but the intrigue doesn't stop there. The condition of the coin is just as important, if not more so, than the mint mark. As with most coins, the more well-preserved the 1949 nickel is, the more valuable it becomes. Many of these nickels were used in daily circulation, and as a result, they often show signs of wear, scratches, and tarnish. However, if you happen to come across a 1949 nickel in excellent, uncirculated condition, you might be holding a rare gem in your hands. But there's another element that can elevate the value of this coin to astronomical levels: minting errors. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, resulting in a coin that has some unique feature or flaw. These errors are incredibly rare and highly desirable to collectors. If you happen to find a 1949 nickel with a minting error, such as a double die or off-center strike, you could have a coin that is worth far more than its face value. Error coins are one of the most coveted items in the numismatic world, and when it comes to the 1949 nickel, even a minor error can make a huge difference in its value. Some collectors have spent years searching for 1949 nickels with rare minting errors, knowing that a single find could drastically increase the worth of their collection. Now, here's the part you've all been waiting for: the value of the 1949 Jefferson Nickel. If you've got one of these coins in pristine condition, or better yet, a 1949 S nickel with a minting error, you could be holding something truly remarkable. These rare pieces have been known to sell for an astonishing amount, and we're talking about a coin that can fetch as much as $135,000. Yes, you heard that right, $135,000 for a single nickel. It's incredible to think that a small, 5-cent piece could hold such immense value, but that's the magic of coin collecting. It's all about finding those hidden treasures that have withstood the test of time, and the 1949 Jefferson Nickel is one of those coins that can make a collector's dreams come true. Top 3, we're going to explore a fascinating piece of American history, the United States 5-cent coin from 1952. At first glance, this nickel may seem like just another coin from the past, but it holds some incredible secrets that can make it worth far more than its face value. Stick with us until the end of the video, because you won't believe just how much this 1952 5-cent coin could be worth today. Let's take a step back in time to 1952. The United States was in a period of post-World War II prosperity. The country was booming economically, and the coinage of this era reflected a time of optimism and growth. The 1952 5-cent coin, commonly known as the Jefferson Nickel, was part of the United States Mint's ongoing efforts to provide the country with a steady supply of currency. The design of the Jefferson Nickel is one of the most recognizable in American coinage. On the obverse, you'll find the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and one of the Founding Fathers. Jefferson's image has been featured on the nickel since 1938, and it's become a symbol of American history and ideals. He was not only the architect of the Declaration of Independence but also a visionary who helped shape the early years of the American Republic. This enduring image on the 1952 coin represents more than just a president, it represents the values that America was built upon. The reverse of the coin showcases Monticello, Jefferson's iconic plantation home in Virginia. Monticello is an architectural masterpiece that reflects Jefferson's refined tastes and his love of classical architecture. On the 1952 nickel, the detailed image of Monticello symbolizes the rich history and heritage of the United States, as well as Jefferson's legacy as a statesman and thinker. Now, let's talk about why the 1952 nickel is such an interesting coin in the world of collecting. While millions of these coins were produced and circulated, it's the rare finds and specific characteristics that make certain 1952 5-cent coins so valuable. The first factor we need to consider is the condition of the coin. Like most coins, the value of the 1952 nickel increases dramatically if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition. Most of the 1952 nickels you come across will show signs of wear and aging, as they were in circulation for many years. But if you're lucky enough to find one that's been kept in excellent condition, you may be holding a hidden treasure. Coins that are well preserved are always in high demand among collectors. The sharper the details, the more desirable the coin. So, if you come across a 1952 nickel that's virtually free of scratches, discoloration, and other imperfections, you could be holding on to something worth a lot more than just 5 cents, but condition is just one part of the story. The next factor that can drive up the value of a 1952 nickel is its mint mark. The mint mark tells us where the coin was produced. In the case of the 1952 5-cent coin, there are 3 possibilities. The coin could have been minted in Philadelphia, with no mint mark, Denver, with a D mint mark, or San Francisco, with an S mint mark. Generally, coins minted in Philadelphia are the most common, while those produced in Denver and San Francisco are rarer. What makes the 1952 coin especially interesting is that certain mint marks, particularly the coins minted in San Francisco, are much harder to find. The San Francisco Mint produced far fewer nickels that year, making them much more valuable to collectors. So, if you happen to find a 1952 nickel, consider yourself lucky. It could be worth a lot more than you might think. Now, let's talk about something that gets any coin collector excited: minting errors. Minting errors are mistakes that occurred during the production process, and they can make a coin extraordinarily rare and valuable. For the 1952 nickel, there are a few known error types that collectors love to hunt for, such as double dies or off-center strikes. A double die error happens when the design is accidentally struck more than once, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the letters or numbers. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, resulting in a coin with part of the design missing or off-center. Minting errors are highly prized by collectors because they make each coin unique. If you have a 1952 nickel with one of these errors, you could be sitting on a small fortune. These error coins are often sold for much higher prices than their regular counterparts, so it's worth checking your collection or even searching through change to see if you can find one of these rare mistakes. And now, here comes the exciting part, the value of the 1952 Jefferson nickel. While most 1952 nickels may be worth only a few dollars in average condition, certain well-preserved examples and rare variants can fetch staggering amounts. If you happen to have a 1952 nickel in excellent condition, or better yet, a rare 1952's nickel with a minting error, you could see your coin soar in value. The highest known sale for a 1952 5-cent coin has reached an astounding $122,000. Yes, that's right, $122,000 for a single nickel. It's incredible to think that something as small and seemingly ordinary as a 5-cent piece could be worth so much. But that's the magic of coin collecting. There's always the potential to uncover something extraordinary that could change your financial future. So, take a closer look at your collection or that jar of loose change sitting around your house. If you come across a 1952 nickel, don't just toss it aside. You might be holding on to a rare piece of history that could be worth a small fortune. Top 4, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins, and we've got a real gem to talk about, the 1964 United States 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson Nickel. You might think of this coin as just another nickel, but wait until you hear about its potential worth. It's not just any ordinary coin. In fact, this particular nickel could be worth far more than you might expect. Stick with us, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why this 1964 Jefferson nickel is such a hot commodity among collectors. Let's take a moment to set the scene. The year was 1964. America was in the midst of a cultural and economic boom. It was a time of major social change, and the country was preparing to take on the challenges of a new decade. Meanwhile, coins like the 1964 Jefferson nickel were circulating widely in American daily life, representing a stable, familiar piece of the nation's economy. On the obverse, you'll find the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, one of the country's founding fathers and the third President of the United States. On the reverse, you'll see Monticello Jefferson's Virginia estate, which symbolizes his legacy and the spirit of American history. But don't be fooled, this coin may look like a standard Jefferson nickel, but it has a hidden potential that many collectors are now scrambling to find. While the U.S. Mint produced millions of 1964 nickels, the truth is that very few of them are in pristine, uncirculated condition. Like many coins that were widely used in circulation, most of the 1964 nickels have been worn down over time, reducing their potential value. But if you're lucky enough to have one in excellent shape, you could be holding on to a rare and valuable treasure. So, what makes the 1964 Jefferson nickel stand out in the world of numismatics? The key factors are condition, rarity, and certain unique variations or errors that may have occurred during the minting process. The condition of the coin is one of the most important factors in determining its value. As you may know, the cleaner and sharper the details on the coin, the more valuable it becomes. Coins that have been well preserved over the years, free from scratches, discoloration, or damage, are much rarer and far more desirable to collectors. A coin that is still in mint state can fetch a much higher price, and if you happen to come across a 1964 Jefferson nickel in perfect, uncirculated condition, you may have found a real gem. But it's not just about the condition. Some of the 1964 Jefferson nickels contain exciting and rare minting errors that make them even more valuable. Minting errors occur when the U.S. Mint makes a mistake during production, and these mistakes can turn a regular coin into a rare collector's item. For example, one of the most valuable 1964 Jefferson nickels is the D/D mint mark error. This happens when the coin is struck with two mint marks, creating a doubled D on the reverse side. This type of minting error is incredibly rare, and coins with this mistake are highly sought after by collectors. If you happen to have one of these error coins in your collection, it could be worth a substantial amount more than a regular 1964 nickel. Another factor that can influence the value of a 1964 Jefferson nickel is the location where it was minted. Some 1964 nickels were produced at the Denver Mint, and these coins carry a D mint mark. Other 1964 nickels were produced in Philadelphia and don't have a mint mark at all. Coins with a D mint mark are typically considered more valuable, especially if they are in excellent condition. Additionally, special error coins or those with unique characteristics are always highly coveted by collectors. So, you may be wondering, how much is the 1964 Jefferson nickel really worth? While most of these coins are still worth just 5 cents, a 1964 Jefferson nickel in great condition, or one with a rare minting error, can be worth a lot more than its face value. In fact, the highest known sale of a 1964 Jefferson nickel reached a jaw-dropping $134,000. Yes, you heard that right, $134,000 for a single coin. It's hard to believe that a 5-cent coin could fetch such an extraordinary price, but that's the magic of coin collecting. A rare, well-preserved coin or one with a unique error can become a collector's dream, and it could be worth a fortune. So, next time you're going through your spare change or examining your coin collection, be sure to take a closer look at any 1964 Jefferson nickels you have. Who knows, you could be sitting on a rare and valuable treasure without even realizing it. Thank you for joining us on this exciting journey through the world of rare coins. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable and unique coins, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on future coin discoveries. Your next coin find could be worth thousands of dollars, so keep hunting, and happy collecting. Top 5, we've got something truly exciting for you, an iconic coin that has sparked the interest of collectors for decades. We're talking about the United States 5-cent coin from 1943. At first glance, this nickel may seem like just another piece of American currency from the past, but believe it or not, this small 5-cent coin could be worth an incredible amount of money. Stick with us until the end of this video, and you'll see why this 1943 nickel could make you the owner of a rare treasure. Let's take a step back in time and set the scene. The year is 1943. The United States is in the midst of World War II, and the world is going through unprecedented changes. During this time, the U.S. Mint had to find innovative ways to ensure there were enough coins in circulation to meet the country's growing needs. The war had created a shortage of certain metals used in coin production, so the government made a major decision: many coins, including the 5-cent piece, would be minted using alternative materials. This is where the 1943 5-cent coin, also known as the wartime nickel, comes into play. Typically, the Jefferson nickel is made of a combination of copper and nickel, but during the war, the U.S. Mint substituted the nickel content with silver and manganese to preserve valuable metals for military use. This meant that the 1943 5-cent coins were composed of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese, which made them stand out from the regular nickel coins. So why is the 1943 5-cent coin so special? Well, there's more to this story than just the change in composition. For most of 1943, the U.S. Mint successfully produced the 5-cent coin with the new silver-manganese blend, but not all of them were made in this new material. Here's where the plot thickens. During this time, some 1943 5-cent coins were mistakenly struck using the old copper-nickel blend, which was used for earlier Jefferson nickels. These coins, made of the same metal as their pre-war counterparts, are incredibly rare. These copper-nickel 1943 nickels are considered one of the most significant and valuable coin errors in American history. The reason these coins are so highly sought after is simple: they were not supposed to exist. When collectors or investors find one of these rare 1943 copper-nickel nickels, it's like discovering a hidden gem, a coin that shouldn't have been minted but somehow slipped through the cracks. The vast majority of 1943 nickels are made of silver and manganese, and they don't carry the same value. However, when one of these elusive copper-nickel 1943 nickels is found, it becomes a collector's dream. These coins are exceedingly rare, and because so few of them were produced, their worth has skyrocketed over the years. Now, let's talk about condition. As with any rare coin, the value of a 1943 copper-nickel nickel can be dramatically affected by its condition. A well-preserved, uncirculated example of this rare coin can command an enormous premium. Many of the 1943 copper-nickel nickels that were circulated have worn down over the years, losing their sharp details and luster. However, if you happen to find one that has been carefully stored and remains in excellent condition, it could be worth significantly more than its face value, but even more important than condition is the rarity of the coin itself. Remember, only a few of these copper-nickel 1943 nickels were made, and only a handful have survived in good enough condition to be considered valuable to collectors. This makes the coin not just rare, but also highly desirable in the world of numismatics. So, what exactly does this rare 1943 copper-nickel 5-cent coin go for? Well, let me tell you that it can fetch a truly jaw-dropping amount. In fact, the value of these rare 1943 copper-nickel nickels can reach incredible heights. The highest known sale for one of these coins has topped $138,000. Yes, $138,000 for a single nickel. It's hard to believe, but it just goes to show how much value can be hidden in the coins we often overlook. This rare 1943 nickel is a perfect example of how a small mistake at the mint can lead to a major windfall for lucky collectors. Top 6. We're diving deep into a coin that might just be sitting in your collection right now, the 1965 United States 5-cent coin, or the Jefferson nickel. It may look like any other nickel from that era, but let me tell you, there's more to this small coin than meets the eye. Stick with us until the end, and we'll reveal just how much this seemingly ordinary nickel can be worth. Let's rewind a bit to 1965. The United States was in the midst of major changes, both socially and economically. The post-war boom had transformed the country, but it also brought with it the challenge of dealing with inflation and economic instability. As the country continued to grow, so did the demand for coins in circulation. During this time, the U.S. Mint was busy producing a wide range of coins, including the 1965 Jefferson Nickel. The 1965 nickel was part of the ongoing series of Jefferson Nickels, which had been in circulation since 1938. The coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse side. Jefferson's image is one of the most iconic in U.S. numismatics, and his legacy as a founding father makes these coins important artifacts of American history. The reverse side of the coin showcases Jefferson's estate, Monticello, which stands as a symbol of his accomplishments and contributions to the country. But here's where things get interesting: the 1965 Jefferson nickel is often overlooked by many collectors. It's easy to assume that this coin, like so many others produced in large quantities during this time, is just another common piece of currency. But, as with many coins, its value can change dramatically depending on certain factors that make it rare and unique. What makes the 1965 Jefferson nickel stand out is its very specific set of conditions that can make it worth a substantial amount of money. One of the key factors is the coin's mint mark. The U.S. Mint produces coins at various facilities across the country, and each facility uses a different mint mark to identify where the coin was struck. Coins from Philadelphia typically don't carry a mint mark, while coins from Denver and San Francisco are marked with a D or S, respectively. For the 1965 nickel, the minting error that has driven the price up is found in coins that were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. You see, the U.S. Mint was transitioning during this time, and a few coins made in 1965 were produced with some unique characteristics. Some 1965 nickels came out with a very faint mint mark or, in some cases, no mint mark at all. While it may sound trivial, these small anomalies have caught the attention of serious collectors. Now, let's talk about what can truly boost the value of a 1965 nickel: its condition. As with any collectible coin, the condition plays a huge role in its market value. A 1965 nickel that is in pristine, uncirculated condition is worth much more than a coin that has been heavily circulated over the years. It's easy to assume that a 1965 nickel is simply a 5-cent piece, but the value skyrockets when you find one in mint condition. The sharpness of the design, the luster of the coin, and the absence of any noticeable wear or damage are key indicators that you may have a rare find in your hands. However, the ultimate value of the 1965 Jefferson nickel is tied to its rarity and demand among collectors. Even though the minting error on certain coins makes them unique, there are still many 1965 nickels in circulation, and finding one with a noticeable mistake or in great condition can be quite the challenge. This rarity is what makes these coins so valuable. As with any coin, another factor that can affect its worth is the possibility of a minting error. Minting errors are extremely rare occurrences where something goes wrong during the production process, resulting in a coin that differs from the standard issue. For the 1965 Jefferson nickel, there are a few notable errors that collectors actively seek out. These can include things like double die errors, where the image is struck multiple times, or off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing. Coins with minting errors are often much more valuable than their regular counterparts, so if you find a 1965 nickel with one of these rare flaws, you might be holding something truly special. Now, let's get to the big reveal: the price of a 1965 Jefferson nickel in exceptional condition. While most 1965 nickels are worth only their face value of 5 cents, if you happen to have one that's in mint condition or contains a rare minting error, you could be in for an incredible surprise. Coins like these have been known to sell for extraordinary amounts, and some of the most sought-after examples have fetched as much as $113,000, that's right, $113,000 for a single 1965 nickel. It's almost hard to believe, isn't it? This just goes to show how valuable rare coins can become, even when they start out as something as simple as a 5-cent piece. If you have a 1965 nickel lying around, it's definitely worth checking its condition, mint mark, and any possible minting errors. Top 7. We have a fascinating story to tell about a seemingly ordinary coin that has the potential to be worth a small fortune. We're talking about the 1964 United States 5-cent coin, better known as the Jefferson nickel. While it may look like just another coin from the past, there's a lot more to this particular nickel than meets the eye. Stick with us until the end of the video, because you won't believe how much this 1964 5-cent coin could be worth. Let's set the stage for 1964. It was a time of change in the United States. The country was in the midst of the post-World War II economic boom, and America's influence on the world stage was growing. Coinage in the U.S. was also going through some interesting developments, and the 1964 Jefferson nickel is a product of this era. At first glance, it looks like the same Jefferson nickel that had been in circulation since 1938, with Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the obverse and his home, Monticello, on the reverse. The design has become an iconic representation of U.S. history, with Jefferson being one of the most revered figures in American politics. But while this coin may seem like just another nickel, it's what lies beneath the surface that makes it so intriguing. The 1964 Jefferson nickel was minted in large quantities, and typically, coins from this year are not worth more than their face value. However, it's the condition, rarity, and certain specific characteristics of the 1964 nickel that can make it truly valuable to collectors. The first thing that makes this coin stand out is its mintage. In 1964, the United States Mint produced millions of Jefferson nickels, but only a small number of these coins were minted with unique characteristics that would later make them highly sought after. One of the main factors that can increase the value of the 1964 nickel is its condition. Like many coins, a well-preserved, uncirculated coin is far more valuable than a worn, circulated one. If you happen to come across a 1964 Jefferson nickel that's in pristine condition, you could be looking at a coin worth much more than 5 cents. The sharpness of the design, the absence of any scratches, discoloration, or other signs of wear, these are all indicators that you may have a rare, high-value coin on your hands. In fact, even a small imperfection can significantly lower the value of the coin, so collectors are always on the lookout for nickels that have been carefully stored and remain in excellent condition. But condition alone is not the only factor that can make the 1964 Jefferson nickel valuable. Some coins minted that year feature subtle yet important variations that can affect their worth. The most important of these variations lies in the minting process itself. You see, the U.S. Mint produces coins at different locations, and each mint has its own specific mark. While most 1964 nickels were minted at the Philadelphia Mint and lack a mint mark, some were struck in Denver, and these coins are marked with a D. The presence of a mint mark, particularly the D mint mark, can make a coin more desirable to collectors, as it's a clear indication of where the coin was produced. However, what really drives up the value of the 1964 nickel is when you come across one that has an error. Minting errors are an exciting and rare occurrence in the world of numismatics, and they can make a coin worth far more than its face value. For the 1964 Jefferson nickel, some of the most valuable coins are those with minting errors. These errors might include things like double dies, where the design appears more than once on the coin, or off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned. These mistakes can make a coin incredibly rare, and when a collector stumbles upon one of these error coins, it can be like finding a hidden treasure. So, what's the bottom line? How much is the 1964 Jefferson nickel worth? Well, while most of the 1964 nickels are still worth only 5 cents, if you happen to find one that's in mint condition, or better yet, one with a rare minting error, the value can skyrocket. In fact, one of the highest known sales for a 1964 Jefferson nickel reached a staggering $116,000, that's right, $116,000 for a single coin. It's incredible to think that a small, everyday nickel could be worth such a large sum. This is a perfect example of how the world of coin collecting can sometimes turn an ordinary object into a valuable piece of history. If you're ever going through your coin collection or digging through your spare change, it's definitely worth taking a closer look at any 1964 Jefferson nickels you find. You just never know if you're holding a rare, high-value coin in your hands. Top 8. We have a special treat for you, an incredibly rare coin that could be hiding in your collection or even in your pocket right now. We're talking about the United States 5-cent coin from 1957, better known as the Jefferson nickel. While it may seem like just another nickel from the 1950s, there's a whole lot more to this coin than meets the eye. Stick around until the end, and you'll see just how much this little 5-cent coin can be worth. Spoiler alert, it's not as small as you might think. To understand why the 1957 Jefferson nickel is so valuable, let's take a quick look at the history of the coin. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, and it quickly became an iconic piece of American currency. Featuring Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse side, and his Virginia estate, Monticello, on the reverse, the design is a tribute to Jefferson's contributions to the nation. Over the years, this coin has been a staple in American circulation, but not all Jefferson nickels are created equal. Now, let's dive into what makes the 1957 version of the Jefferson nickel stand out from the crowd. By this time, the coin had already been in circulation for nearly 2 decades, and like many other coins from the 1950s, the 1957 Jefferson nickel was minted in large quantities. While most of these nickels are fairly common and worth just a few cents today, there are certain versions of the 1957 nickel that are incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. So, what sets the 1957 Jefferson nickel apart from its counterparts? The key lies in its condition, rarity, and the possibility of minting errors. Just like with any collectible coin, the value of a 1957 nickel can be significantly influenced by its condition. The better the condition, the higher the value. A well-preserved 1957 Jefferson nickel that has been carefully stored and remains free from scratches, discoloration, and other signs of wear can fetch a much higher price than a heavily circulated one. But even beyond the condition, there's a more exciting aspect to the 1957 Jefferson nickel that has captured the attention of collectors: minting errors. Errors during the minting process can create coins that are different from the standard issue, and these coins are often worth a lot more money. For the 1957 Jefferson nickel, there are a few minting errors that have been discovered, and these error coins are considered to be highly valuable. One of the most sought-after varieties of the 1957 Jefferson nickel is the D/D mint mark error. This occurs when a coin is struck with a mint mark that was previously used on another coin, creating a double mint mark on the same coin. This error makes the coin unique and incredibly rare, which is why it's so desirable to collectors. Other types of minting errors, such as off-center strikes or double strikes, can also increase the value of a 1957 Jefferson nickel, making these coins even more precious. Another factor that makes the 1957 Jefferson nickel so intriguing is its place in history. The 1950s were a time of significant social and economic change in the United States, and coins from this era reflect that. The 1957 nickel, in particular, represents a time when the country was on the brink of the space race and the civil rights movement. Coins from this era can carry a certain historical significance, and many collectors find that owning a coin from this time period adds to its allure. Now, let's get to the big question: how much is a 1957 Jefferson nickel worth? Well, if you have a 1957 nickel in uncirculated condition, or if you've come across one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a coin that's worth far more than just 5 cents. Some of the most valuable 1957 nickels have been known to sell for astonishing amounts of money. The highest known sale for a 1957 Jefferson nickel has reached a mind-blowing price of $131,000. Yes, you heard that right, $131,000 for a single 1957 nickel. It's incredible to think that something as small as a 5-cent coin could hold such a significant value. This just goes to show how rare and valuable certain coins can become, especially when they have unique characteristics or are in exceptional condition. If you have any 1957 Jefferson nickels lying around, it's definitely worth taking a closer look at them. While not every 1957 nickel will be worth this much, it's still important to check for signs of wear, minting errors, or special features that could make your coin valuable. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting to get into the world of numismatics, this is a coin you won't want to overlook. Top 9 and rare coin. We're talking about a coin that's sure to make you take a closer look at your collection: the United States 5-cent coin from 1960. At first glance, it might seem like just another nickel, but this particular coin has some hidden value that you won't want to miss. Stick with us until the end, and we'll reveal just how much this little 5-cent coin is actually worth. Let's take a trip back to 1960. The United States was in the midst of the post-World War II economic boom. The country was flourishing, and things were looking optimistic. The 1960s also saw incredible changes in society, from the space race to the rise of the civil rights movement. Meanwhile, coins like the 1960 Jefferson nickel were circulating in the everyday lives of Americans, completely unaware of how valuable they would eventually become to collectors. Now, let's break down the 1960 Jefferson nickel. This coin, part of the long-running Jefferson Nickels series that began in 1938, features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side. As one of the founding fathers and the third president of the United States, Jefferson has long been a symbol of American ideals and history. On the reverse, you'll find an image of his Virginia estate, Monticello, which represents his accomplishments and contributions to the nation. At first glance, this coin might look pretty typical for its era, but there's more to it than just the iconic design. The 1960 Jefferson nickel was produced in large quantities, but over the years, many of these coins have been lost or worn down due to daily circulation. So, what makes the 1960 Jefferson nickel worth more than just a few cents? The answer lies in its rarity, its condition, and some intriguing minting errors that collectors are on the lookout for. One of the most important factors that determine the value of any coin is its condition. While the 1960 nickel was produced in large numbers, coins that were well preserved over the years are much rarer and far more valuable. A coin that has been carefully kept and remains free from damage, scratches, or discoloration is much more likely to fetch a higher price. So, if you have a 1960 nickel that's still in great shape, it could be worth much more than its face value. Now, let's talk about another exciting factor: minting errors. Over the years, the U.S. Mint has occasionally made mistakes during the production of coins, and these errors can lead to coins with unique characteristics that set them apart from the rest. For the 1960 Jefferson Nickel, one of the most sought-after errors is the D/D mint mark error. This happens when a coin is struck with two mint marks, creating a doubled D on the reverse side of the coin. This minting mistake is a rare and exciting find for collectors, as it significantly increases the value of the coin. Aside from minting errors, there are other factors that could contribute to the value of a 1960 nickel. For example, the presence or absence of the mint mark can make a difference. The 1960 Jefferson Nickel was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and coins struck in Philadelphia do not carry a mint mark. Coins with a D mint mark from Denver, or an S mint mark from San Francisco, are more desirable to collectors, especially if they are in great condition. So, how much is the 1960 Jefferson Nickel worth? Well, like many coins, its value can vary greatly depending on its condition, mint mark, and any potential minting errors. However, when you find a 1960 nickel in excellent condition, or if it has one of those rare minting errors, the price can be truly astounding. In fact, some of the most valuable 1960 Jefferson Nickels have sold for a jaw-dropping $128,000. Yes, you heard that right, $128,000 for a single 1960 nickel. It's hard to believe, but it's true. This is a perfect example of how coins that were once part of everyday currency can become priceless treasures over time.